Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Yusuf bin Zakaria. I will be presenting my assignment number 8, which is interconnection block diagram for ROV training simulator. Okay. Firstly, I will show you what are the components of the ROV training simulator. Okay, here are the incoming power supply. So, okay, and then this is the surface control of the ROV for training simulator. And then we go to the power transmission and data telemetry for the training simulator here. And the next is subsea system for this simulator. Okay, now I will show you the pilot console or the control room for the simulator. Okay, and I will be explaining to you how the system works using the SIPOC method. Okay, this is the interconnection block diagram for the ROV training simulator that we saw earlier. So this is the block diagram of each of the component, and I'm going to explain how the process for each component of the block diagram of this simulator. Okay, we're gonna start from the incoming here. Incoming for the simulator is about 240, and the output will be to the PDU, which is 240, and will produce an output also to the power supply, 240, and from the power supply here, it will give supply power to the surface control and to the control PC. Okay. Next, the power will be going to the control PC here, and the control PC will activate the component, each of component here. And the first one is human machine interface. Okay, the human machine interface, like we saw here earlier, have incoming 24 DC volt. I'm sorry. And for the next one is a master PLC, also have incoming 24 DC volt. And the next one is the monitor, also 24 DC volt. And the other one missing here is a pilot console that we saw earlier. The pilot console also have 24 DC volt. Okay, from the control PC also, it will be power up the multiplexer here, and also remote I/O PLC. Okay, for the first one is a multiplexer. Instead of 24 DC volt, it will give it only need 5 volt DC, and the input is from the remote I/O, which is we are using the Cat6 cable, and the output will be into the next multiplexer, but it will go through the telemetry and transmission first. Okay, and the client will be the multiplexer. Okay, for remote I/O PLC, and the supply is 24 DC volt, and the input is from control PLC, and the output will be to the control switcher, and the client will be the control switcher also. Okay, for remote IOPS, for control switcher, I'm sorry, the input is from remote IOPSC, and the output also to remote IOPSC, and the function is to switch on and off of a lighting. As you can see in this diagram, the light here. Okay, for DVR, digital video recorder, the input is from the multiplexer, and the output is to the through coaxial cable, or the the VGA cable, and the client is splitter, and its function is to record the video input. Okay, and the next one is splitter. The incoming is 4 DC, 5 DC volt DC, and the input is from the DVR, and the output is to monitor. Okay, and the function is to split the video, the data, split the data into other equipment. And the next one is monitor. This one receive 24 DC volt supply and input output from a splitter. Okay, and that's one we cover for the top surface of the ROV simulator. And then next we will go to telemetry and transmission. Okay, telemetry and transmission, it consists of termination panels, static junction box, slip ring, rotating junction box, and ROV junction box, the one that we saw earlier. Okay, for termination panel, it receives supply from the multiplexer, and also the input from multiplexer, and it will transfer the output to static junction box, and the client also to static junction box. And after that, the static junction box, it receives supply from termination panel and also input from termination panel, and the output in client will be the slip ring. The slip ring receive the input and data from static junction box and output to rotating JB, and same goes to rotating JB and ROV junction box. Okay, we are finished cover for telemetry and transmission, and next we will go to the subsea equipment, the one that I showed earlier. Okay, from ROV junction box here, it will supply the 24 DC volt, 12 DC volt to power up the equipment in the subsea equipment, and also the ROV junction box will power up the multiplexer at the subsea equipment. Okay, alright, for multiplexer transmitter here, the input and the supply and input is from the ROV junction box, and the output will be to remote IOPLC, and the client also remote IOPLC. Okay, The next one is remote I/O PLC. The input and supply, it receives 24 DC volt and input from multiplexer transmitter and also from relay. Okay, and the client will be the relay. Okay, and the relay, the input is from remote I/O PLC, and the supply is 24 DC volt, and the output will be into a thruster, camera, and multiplex manipulator. Okay, for thruster, camera, and manipulator, the input and supply is from the relay, and the input is from the relay, and the supply is from this 24 volt DC volt here. And that's all for the subsea equipment. Okay, I think that's all for this assignment. Thank you.